If you're sitting there scrolling through Instagram right now, wondering how these tooth gem techs are having perfect gem retention while your gems keep falling off, I want you to keep watching this video because I have definitely been there, and I want to share 3 game-changing discoveries that got me from struggling to normalizing 2 to 4 year retention that most tooth gem trainers are not teaching you. And I'm saving the best one for last because number 3 is truly the tip that changed my entire business. And it's something that most weekend tooth gem trainings do not even touch. Hi, I'm Nee. I'm a dental hygienist with 5 years of experience tooth gemming my patients, and today I'm breaking down what's actually causing your retention issues and why understanding the science changes everything. Now, most courses teach you to treat everyone the exact same and every mouth the exact same, but this is where the frustration starts because no two people in the entire world are identical. Even identical twins differ in their personalities and their interests. So this comes down to the diet, the medical health, dental health, lifestyle habits, and the saliva. Now, a combination of these factors is what most tooth gem trainings do not teach you. Now, here's what I need you to understand. Saliva isn't just spit that we should avoid during the application and the preparation process. It actually has a job. Healthy saliva is responsible for washing away all the plaque, bacteria, food debris, sugars in the diet from your teeth and from the surface of your tooth gems. And this doesn't just happen when you apply the tooth gem, but it happens every single day of every single second. The saliva essentially is what keeps your teeth, your mouth, and your tooth gems protected. But let me ask you, what if someone has unhealthy saliva? Whether that's through their medication, their dental health, their lifestyle choices, their diet, and maybe it's just their natural body's chemistry. That washing away system gets completely destroyed. So what that means for us as tooth gem techs is all that plaque, debris, bacteria, sugars, that stays on the tooth surface, which stays on the tooth gem. And over time, a combination of these factors causes the bond and the tooth gem to deteriorate. And over time, this compromises the bonding structure of your tooth gem. This is why you might have clients whose tooth gems last 6 weeks, while others last 6 months, while others last 2 to 3 years. You have the same technique, same products, same preparation, but the result is completely different. Now, I had a new client who had gone to this other tooth gem artist multiple times to get a tooth gem. The issue was her gems were just not staying. They would fall off after a week, then they would fall off after a month, and then she tried a different tooth gem look and it would still fail. So no matter what she did, the tooth gems would just not stick. That's when this new client met me, and after she talked through exactly what she was experiencing, I had an inkling that it could be saliva. Now, the moment she lay down on the bed, I knew right away after doing my saliva assessment that her saliva was the key issue that was causing her repeated tooth gem failure. The reason being was she had an underlying medical condition that she didn't even know about, and she was taking this medication that was causing her to have dry mouth. Now, when you have dry mouth, your saliva is compromised, meaning that again, that washing away system is compromised, and the tooth gem was constantly being put under pressure to stick onto the enamel when it didn't have the right resources and the right cleaning system to keep the bond strong. Once we understood that, we pretty much tweaked the tooth gem set that she originally had into a low risk, low maintenance design that was suitable for her medical, dental, and her lifestyle risks. After we did this assessment and we changed up her design, her gems ended up lasting a year and a half after this with personalized aftercare instructions based on her medical, dental, and lifestyle history. Now, this is what I mean when I say that saliva is truly the foundation of your tooth gem retention. Because if you don't understand what's happening in the oral environment, when you place your tooth gems on, even with the best products, the best application, you did the preparation perfectly, you're still going to get differing outcomes. And when you don't know why something failed, you're continuously going to keep second guessing yourself. You might be changing your products, you might be doubting your skills, like I was when I first started my tooth gem business back in 2021. So it's not your fault that you might have gems that keep popping off left and right without you knowing why. It's just because you weren't trained to look at the red flag. Now, if you're just realizing that you have gaps in your knowledge right now, just comment down below enamel and I'll send you a quick cheat sheet I made detailing other enamel red flags that you need to look out for. Now, the second game changer that I implemented in my business that got me to normalizing 2 to 4 year retention is truly understanding the difference between a low maintenance versus a high maintenance tooth gem look. So let me give you an example because it can be a little bit confusing. So let's say you're a landscaper and you have a client with a beautiful mansion. Now, they've asked you to put up a fence and you have 2 choices. You can choose the hedges, they look beautiful, or you can choose the steel gate that they install once and forget about. Now, you need to consider that with the hedges, even though they look beautiful, you would need to get someone in to water it, to trim it, to shape it, and that takes a lot of effort. Tooth gems kind of work in the same way. A high maintenance design might look like a full set or any particular tooth gem look that is close to the gingiva or close to the biting edge, where the client would need to kind of change their lifestyle, their diet, or the way that they do their oral hygiene in order to make sure that this tooth gem stays on for as long as possible. Now, let's say you have a client that is super busy. They work full time, they have a business, they also have a family, they have 2 children. It's unlikely that they're going to be able to adopt the lifestyle changes and the oral hygiene habits required for that tooth gem to actually last the longest period of time. And even though you've applied it perfectly with the perfect prep and the best products, that gem will still fail if they're not able to keep up with that aftercare. Versus a low maintenance look with either a strategic placement or something a little bit more on the dainty side with low risk placements would be more ideal for certain clients who just want their gem on and they don't want to think about it after. They want to eat whatever they want. They don't want to change anything in their lifestyle, and keeping up with their oral hygiene habits at this very moment is already difficult for them. So they don't want to be making any drastic changes. A low maintenance design would be absolutely perfect for this client. Now, low maintenance versus high maintenance tooth gem designs does not mean that you cannot go all out crazy. A low maintenance design can still be a full set up and bottom. However, it's the strategic placement and the selection of certain tooth gem shapes that makes it low maintenance. Now, the problem here is that most techs were taught that wherever the client wants the gem is where you'll place it. If the client wants a full set, you're going to give them a full set. If the client wants a butterfly on the left side, you give them a butterfly on the left side. But what if this client does shisha every week? What if they love actually eating the sticky foods? What if they have an addiction for nuts or pistachios? Or just like my client that I just mentioned, what if they have some underlying medical condition that would mean that their tooth gem would fail anyways, despite you doing the best work? Unfortunately, that full set intricate design that you took 2 hours to do is just not going to last 2 to 4 years. And when it fails, they won't think that it's something that they did. They'll go back to you. This client is going to think that you didn't prepare the tooth right, you didn't apply it right, and you're not the expert that you know that you are. And that misunderstanding really hurts your business. I'm sure that you and I have had consultations where your client comes in with a full Pinterest board of inspiration pictures, and it wasn't until I did the medical, dental, lifestyle habits, oral hygiene assessment did I realize that what they want versus what their mouth can actually handle long term were in completely different realms. And this is where you're going to have to start recommending to your client what tooth gem sets, what tooth gem looks, designs, and placements are actually suitable for their lifestyle. Now, if you avoid this conversation, you're bound to have tooth gem failures and unmet retention expectations. This is why understanding your client's lifestyle and their oral hygiene habits is non-negotiable before you even start designing the look, because you need to ensure that you match the gem design to the person that can actually handle that design. And when you get into the habit of doing this and having this conversation, you're actually setting your clients up for success. Instead of just being a yes man and saying yes to everything, your retention rates go up, your confidence go up, and your business reputation skyrockets. This is the opportunity for you to build that trust with your clientele, because even if their gems do fail, you've already given them a time frame and you've already given exactly what risk factors they need to look out for to ensure that their gem actually lasts. And when you have this conversation and go into this much depth, your clients actually trust you more because they see you as someone who wants to get them the best results, not just in it for the money. Now, game changer number 3 is the switch that ties it all together. And it's the reason why most tooth gems stay stuck exactly where they are, even if they know about saliva health and about gem maintenance. Game changer number 3 is having a systematic client assessment framework. Now, the problem is, even though you have this knowledge now about saliva health, about gem maintenance, and matching the gem set to the client themselves, when a client books and you don't have the systematic framework, you could be missing out key information that can influence your design. Unfortunately, most tooth gem trainers do not teach you a framework to actually set your clients up and yourself for success. They might ask a few questions for their clients like, how many times do you brush a day? What toothbrush do you use? Do you smoke? What allergies do you have? But all of these questions and these answers go in one ear and out one ear because they ask simply hoping that it's enough, when in fact they're actually missing out entire categories that are key to making your gems last for as long as possible. Instead, what you need to be asking is way more scientific, because without a structured checklist or framework to follow, you're going to be going into this conversation blind, and your client might feel that the questions you are asking are not constructive. They might be wondering, why is she asking me about my smoking history? Why is she asking me about the medications I take? Why is she asking me about what type of toothpaste I use, and why does that matter? But when you have the science to support each and every one of your questions, you build on your credibility because you can actually explain what their answer means and how that affects your tooth gem placement. Now, this is what truly separates an average versus an expert tooth gem tech. When you're guessing what will work, you're going to be anxious. You're going to be hoping and praying that your clients follow the aftercare when really the aftercare is somewhat irrelevant. And every time your client leaves the door, you might be wondering, is it going to hold on? Is it going to stick? Did I miss something? Maybe I should have asked a few more questions. And don't worry, don't feel bad, because I used to be this exact same way when I started out as a tooth gem tech. I didn't know what the right questions were to ask. I didn't know how to say it in a constructive way. And because of that, I missed so many key details that caused my gems to fail way sooner than expected. This used to cause me so much anxiety because my tooth gems would fail without me even understanding why, even though my products were perfect, my technique and my preparation were exactly what the textbook was saying, but I was missing these key pieces of information that could have definitely helped my clients' gems stay way longer. With a proper assessment framework that's literally backed by science, it gives you the confidence that you're not just hoping, but you actually have the right information. This is why having a proper dental back assessment framework is so important, because it removes that second guessing and anxiety with knowing, with information, with knowledge, with science, so that you're protected in the case that the gems do fail. The reality is though, you can't just build this framework through experience. You need someone who actually understands the dental science, the medical factors, and the real world application of tooth gems to put it all together. So now that you know these 3 game-changing shifts that I had to make in order to normalize 2 to 4 year retention and become the best at what I do and get the best outcomes for my clients, I'm gonna share one more thing that I keep seeing happening over and over again in our tooth gem community. You take a course, you learn how to apply the tooth gem, you learn some dental basics, you start taking clients, and then you realize that there are questions that you don't know the answer to. Maybe something goes wrong and your tooth gem falls off, even though you feel that you've done the exact application, the technique, and using the best products that they have recommended. And the problem is you're completely alone. And because you are alone, you turn to free tooth gem resources like Facebook groups, post your question hoping to get an answer back. And what you get instead is 10 other tooth gem techs who experience the same thing and are giving you recommendations also based on second guessing. This is the cycle that keeps so many tooth gem techs stuck, because even though you have the knowledge now of what you need to look out for, it's the implementation. Without that community and accountability to actually show you how to implement this knowledge, you'll still be navigating your business half blind. And trust me, honey, I'm talking from experience. I have been there as a lonely tooth gem tech and it's exhausting. And because I'm 5 years into this already, I don't want you to be part of that statistic like I once was. If you're just now realizing that what you need isn't more information, but a supportive mentor who can guide you along the way, as well as an exclusive community of worldwide gem techs who are just as serious about science as you can learn more about how to work with me and be a part of our community in the link in the description. If you're still here, I want you to drop a gem emoji down below in the comment section so I know that you're one of the few gem techs who actually take their business seriously. Now, if you still feel like you're second guessing your application and your knowledge, I do have a really helpful video here that you can watch next.